Today is May 29th, which means we are T-minus 3 days from the conservatives' least favorite time of the year, Pride Month.
And then a guy comes along, or a gal, or whatever. A transitioned person comes along.
But that doesn't mean that bigots haven't started celebrating early. Many companies have abandoned their commitment to LGBTQ or DEI-friendly policies, falling in line with Trump's tirade against anyone who isn't a straight white man or mail-order bride. But not all companies are falling in line. There's a few brave brands out there not willing to compromise their moral integrity to satisfy Trump's bigotry. Or, hey, maybe they just don't want to lose out on the money. I mean, gay folks' money spends the same, doesn't it? Either way, MAGA is in an uproar, begging dear leader to ban the month outright, seemingly unaware of the fact that what they want to replace it with is a complete self-own. But of course, the maggots are too stupid to realize. If you like this kind of coverage that MAGA hates to see, well, you can get plenty of it right here at Really American. Just hit the subscribe button and leave a blue heart below so we know that you're here. Levi Strauss the Jean Company first sent MAGA into a tizzy last month when they voted to knock down a proposal that would have ended their DEI programs. And today, they're triggering MAGA all over again by releasing their 2025 Pride collection, which aptly contains a pink triangle, a symbol for the oppression LGBTQ people faced during the Holocaust. In April 2025, less than 1% of Levi's shareholders supported a proposal to abolish the company's DEI programs. Oof, less than 1% of the shareholders for Levi voted against DEI. Like, good for y'all. The move comes after the National Center for Public Policy Research, a conservative Washington-based think tank, submitted a proposal calling for Levi's to halt diversity programs, employee resource groups, and any consideration of race or gender in hiring or promotion. It doesn't surprise me that a conservative think tank was the one that submitted this proposal, seeing as America is following fastly in the footsteps of a certain mustachioed meth head. It's good that people are aware of the fact that these tactics are coming and what's coming next, because the fascists are everywhere. For example, domestic terror fan Libs of TikTok, who has clearly started ramping up for probably her most lucrative month, June, seeing as anti-gay posts seem to do well for these knuckle-dragging troglodytes. She tweets, LGBTQ Pride is seeing a massive exodus of advertisers and sponsors. Pride is going broke. Then she posts this headline that says, scared advertisers, flag bans, and Trump. The U.S. is in for a troubled Pride 2025. As well as a litany of pride flag versions of various companies which probably aren't doing this anymore. But it's funny how there's one company that wasn't mentioned, Target, which found that when it walked back its DEI policies and was faced with massive backlash by minority communities, well, they lost a ton of money. At a May 21st conference call with Wall Street analysts following its release of earnings for its first quarter ended March 31st, Cornell alluded to the backlash without going into detail. He attributed the company's ugly performance, comparable store sales down by 5.7% from a year earlier, to several factors, including the reaction to the updates we shared in January. That was an obvious allusion to the dropping of DEI initiatives. That's what happens when your company is full of cowards with no moral backbone. But Levi isn't the only company who's not shying away from Pride this year. BarkBox, the dog toy subscription service, has a Pride collection coming out, which sent Trump's old lawyer into a tizzy on Twitter. Jenna Ellis, one of Trump's old lawyers and policy advisors, found out about BarkBox's Pride Month and flipped. She was sure to message customer service and pause her subscription for June. She wouldn't want her Christian dog playing with any gay toys. It's so funny that they call liberals snowflakes, but the idea of them receiving a dog toy that has a rainbow on it makes them flip out, as if God is going to smite them down for touching something that's a little bit too queer. And this fear of gay people and trans people, also known as homophobia and transphobia, respectively, goes all the way up to the top, with Trump's consistent tirade against trans folks in sports. even though trans people make up 1,000th of 1% of all athletes. That's 0.001% of all athletes are trans. They're making laws about what kind of bathrooms these folks can use, trying to decide what can and can't go on trans people's passports. They're actively trying to remove LGBTQ people's existence from public life, as evidenced from this post by Libs of TikTok, one of the biggest conservative accounts, mind you, who's celebrating Montana Governor Greg Gianforte's signing HB 819 into law, which bans pride flags from classrooms. That's right, no more rainbows in classrooms. It's going to be very hard for those elementary school kids to learn their colors now. And these MAGA morons are basically begging their god King Trump to outright ban Pride Month, as if that's something that he has the ability to do. Pride, of course, is a private month of celebration, just kind of something that people do. It's not something the government pays for or has any involvement with. But that doesn't stop them from posting stuff like this, begging Trump, please cancel Pride Month and replace it with Patriot Month. Do it and you won't regret it. And posting stuff like this from MAGA Voice. Do you support abolishing Pride Month in June and replacing it with Veterans Month? Here's the real kicker, the ultimate irony of these requests from MAGA, because I've heard it all over the internet from these conservatives who want to get rid of Pride Month and replace it with some sort of Veterans Appreciation Month or Patriot Month or Military Month or whatever. The irony of it is that none of them seem to be aware of the fact that there already is a Military Appreciation Month. And guess what? It's May. It's this month. These idiots clearly don't care about the military or veterans, because if they did, they'd be spending the last few days of May celebrating their love of the military, rather than prepping to lose their minds next month whenever they inevitably see a man in a jockstrap walking down the street, or two women kissing in front of a church. You'd think they'd be tired of constantly filling themselves with hate for people that they barely know. But hey, there's no rest for the wicked, is there? I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.